Sorare game week 389 lineup builder. Welcome back, everybody. Firstly, thanks very much for all the nice feedback on the market update video. That was something a wee bit different, so seems to have gone down pretty well, which was good. If anyone has any ideas and topics or things they want covered, then quite happy to do that as well. Just about to have a look at the current game week, and to be honest, doesn't look like there's going to be a rewards video this Friday. So the two options are Guinness or Guinness. But yeah, there'll definitely be Guinness. But if anybody has any topics or anything they would like me to cover, then quite happy, obviously, to do that as well. Also, over and above that, hopefully there'll be some updates from Sorare soon. So anything that comes out, we'll cover that as well. So into the current game week at the moment. Yeah, this is what we describe in Scotland as a bag of spanners, i.e. absolutely Johnny Rotten. Yeah, it's just been one of those, right? So loads of MLS rotations, etc. Predicted it in the last video that Big Stano would do me, and he has. Although could still hit the 240 with a clean sheet for Gabron Lejude. But yeah, Seoul scored 7 goals, and they never brought Stano on. So what more can I say? Under 23 Rare Pro, good run is ended. Overall didn't do terribly, but Jack Maher absolutely nowhere to be seen. So there we go. Predicted he might be back this weekend, might not be back. So that's another headache. And generally speaking, just absolutely rubbish. This was under 23's lineup. Yeah, nothing to write home about there at all. So thought before we do the lineup video, we'd do something a bit different. And I'm not Fabrizio Romano, whatever he wants to call himself. But I thought we'd have a look through recent transfers, so see if there's anything interesting happening. Usually keep in touch with transfer market, transfer rumours, all that type of stuff anyway. So see Sepp van der Berg's went on loan to Mainz, so he's a talented young player. That could be a decent loan for him. Liverpool youngster. Stefano Cirati is a really highly rated goalkeeper, so fortunately don't think he's got any cards yet. He's moving to Frosinone, so never know. Obviously might get a licence for Frosinone, but I don't think he's got any cards at Sassuolo just now. It's a shame. It's a good young goalkeeper. Pulisic moved from Chelsea to AC Milan. Sorry, Chelsea's treatment table to AC Milan. So 20 million. That's nice money for Chelsea. That will pay off some of his medical bills, you would have thought. More people going to Al Duhail in Saudi Arabia. What a nightmare. Just so many rumours and everything just now. So it's torture. The latest one today is Immobile might be going. So yeah, it's not been confirmed yet. If it had been, then I would obviously be greeting. But there we go. Savios went on loan to Girona. So I was talking maybe going back to PSV. Actually, that would have been a really good move. I'm sure he'll do well at Girona, but obviously that'll be a harder league in terms of SO5 scoring, etc. for Sorare. Matinho to Sparta Rotterdam again. A guy's not got a card, that's a shame. But Sparta were good last season, so I would probably put him in your short list because he's highly rated. City Group and Sparta obviously are covered, so he should come with the new cards. Munis Dabur to UAE Pro League, managed to get him away as a recent prize to Pavel. Thanks very much, Pavel. Might be nice to see you for a couple of days there. So you've got some nice cards in from Spicer as well, so might need to be extra nice to you if I see anything I want, but if not, back to normal. And who else? Ahmed Katuku, I used to hold him. Oh, Sebastian Szymanski. He's a guy I own, so that's a pretty good move to Fenerbahce. Really happy with that. Shame he obviously never went to Feyenoord, but even though they get the money in for Orkin Kochu, it doesn't look as if they really wanted to pay the fee, but I think he could be really good at Fenerbahce. They've got lots of good players and they're talking about signing other players as well, so that's interesting. I'm pretty happy with that move. Kevin McAllister to Union St Galwaz. They should be pretty good actually. So you look at the sort of Burgess and Morris and McAllister and playing three at the back, like I think they'll do pretty well. Kandus moved to Ghent, so he moved in another direction. Pau Torres to Aston Villa, 33 million. Oof, some amount of money in the EPL, nearly as much as Saudi Arabia. Angelino to Galatasaray, that's a really good move. I know Quinny was saying he wished he'd picked up the Super Rare for point two or whatever. Galatasaray seem to be signing a lot of players, which is interesting. So yeah, at least that's covered. So that's a start. And bloody hell, Roberto Insigne nearly had a heart attack there. I thought that was Lorenzo Insigne there for a minute, but he's been linked to Saudi Arabia as well. So there we go. So that's as far back as I'm going to get. I always like to keep an eye on that just because I'm a nosy bugger as well, to be honest. But nice to keep an eye on the transfers, etc. So on to the upcoming game week. Stick with a similar theme. Obviously, for me just now, focus mainly is still on the under 23s and trying to hit the cap. So there we go. We'll stick to a similar theme. Having a look, obviously, looks like Messi will be unveiled at the weekend, but I don't think he'll be playing at the weekend. So information seems to be that he'll be playing against Cruz Azul. So I don't know why I'm talking about that when I've just loaded up the under 23s, because obviously he's not under 23s. But yeah, that's kind of dampened my enthusiasm for picking an all-star team. There we go. So under 23s, interesting one here. League One Yin got a game for Gang One against Diageo midweek and hit an 82. So that was a really interesting one. I actually did end up putting him in a team because the lineup was out and the next guy who played get a DMP. So there we go. He seems to be an in and outer, so I don't really fancy him playing much. It's a tough one this weekend. Like, I only really has one selection I really fancy here. Well, I suppose Shota. But Kim Jong-hyun's been really good. Playing against Suwon, who are without a doubt all over the place. I'm going to double check and see what the lineup builder suggests just on the fixtures, because it is. They're suggesting Kim. So yeah, I think we'll just go with that. I don't mind Patrick Shilta, and I think Portland are not the best either, but I think John Book being at home, that's probably the selection. On to the defenders. Jack Maher, tough game away at Cincinnati, so I don't think I'd really pick him anyway, to be honest. I just think Nashville are quite solid at home and have been solid recently, but Cincinnati have been really good this season, so that's going to cause me some headaches for the other selections. Got Vital at home, Wygand away at Gymnasia, Valentin Barco. Valentin Barco's interesting because he's really been a left back, but Boca have been playing him in a more advanced position. Obviously now they know Sebastian Villa, etc. at the moment, so that's a proper interesting one. I think Gymnasia against Boca will be an interesting game because Gymnasia don't score many goals either, so they've been doing pretty well but don't score many. So there I think in that position is probably between Wygand and Barco. Gonna go with Barco, just go for the attacking players. Like, obviously he's playing an attacking position, but he's got the defender card, so if it's a tight game then you get the benefit of a clean sheet. Gymnasia are pretty good at the back, so it's not an overwhelmingly good game or anything, but you can see with the options we've got available at the moment that we're really missing Europe. Sure, everybody is from a certain point of view. On to the midfield. So one thing to note here is I haven't really splashed out on a Thiago Almada, so if I really was want to pick somebody, then it'd be pretty obvious who I would want to put in here. Obviously, he's been linked to loads of moves and everything as well, so if he trots up at Feyenoord or Benfica or whatever, he'll be a totally insane card, and he is an insane card just now, but he could also be a move to Man City and rotated and all that type of stuff, so it's one of those. He's kind of almost doing too well, if that makes sense. Let's see what happens with him. I do think he'll go, to be honest, and that's why I've not really splashed out on him, because I think there's a risk of the move. So if he does move and he's a similar price, then I'll probably just buy him at that point. Now, stay on the theme of the old Boca cards. I think I'll probably here for a midfield pick either Malinas or Christian Medina. I just think I just fancy a wee Boca stack here after going bonkers after buying the whole selection, and also because I'm being told by the lineup builder. Interestingly, they're picking Malinus rather than Medina, so that's probably just on fixture difficulty and stuff as well. So yeah. So again, this interesting thing with collections. Malinus is out on loan just now, but you still get the bonus for the collection. In terms of strikers, Ramiro Sordo's got higher average than Brian Aguirre, but Ramiro Sordo's injured at the moment. Brian Aguirre was linked with Inter Miami, funnily enough, so that would be a really cool move. Pair him up with Messi, etc. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. They've been also linked with some other guys. I think that our standout guy here is Song Min Kyu, because Suwon have just absolutely rotten and just conceded 7. So I have a wee look and see what Play Sharper says about John Book, because if he's fancied to play, I think that's probably a better selection just on them being all over the place type stuff. But he just, yeah, 80%. That's an interesting one. So initially I was thinking Brian Aguirre, but I think I'm going to go with now there's difference in obviously XP here, 7% or 14.5%. But at the end of the day, if he scores a hat trick or whatever, that's not going really going to matter, is it? And then the last selection, do we go sort of Boca defence, or just do we go for Medina? Medina's been playing quite advanced as well. Alan Varela's actually a selection, which is interesting, though Alan's not really been playing that well, so I don't really fancy that, to be honest. So I think between Weigand, Medina, obviously Matsuki, other options, Sforza at home against Tuckman, another good player, young Sforza, I like him. Leo Chu's been playing well. I think I'll just go for the old Boca side of things. So yeah, I think captain selection would be Song Min Kyu if he was more fancied to play. I mean, 80% is pretty strong, right? But there's just so much rotation and stuff at John Book, so I think we'll go with one of the Boca lads. Yeah, I'll go with Medina. He's quite capable of putting in high scores, etc. So there we go. So that's under 23 selected. Move on to the Cap 240. We've been doing okay here recently, to be fair, in the Cap 240. I've been doing alright. Maybe a wee bit more interesting in terms of variety of selections, etc. here. So before we check the lineup side of things, the lineup builder, I'm going to have a wee look and see who kind of fancy myself. So first thing I always do here is just kind of look down and see if there's anybody who's lowish down in terms of having a reasonable game, and also averages to sort of enable somebody else to play. No game at the weekend for Santos. That's crap. That's me get no legit. Might have to actually sweat Consadoli. Big Sugino. Guy's about 40 or something, easily 15 years left in Japan, obviously. Yeah, let's consult the old computerized side of things. Always helps. The computer says, "You're a diddy, Kim Jin-hoon." Bloody hell, I'm already playing him. Right, we're going to have to pick our own, that's fine. I was going to go with Sugino. Bugger it. What's the worst that can happen? It depends if you've been watching them playing recently. There we go. Right, defenders. So we don't have as much leeway as normal. First thing to check is 51 average. So we're going to be putting in a lot of average players, or somebody with a really rubbish average, like Stano, who just stays on the bench and just hammers you. Just becomes a horrendous result because they don't come on at all. I'd love to play Fukumori, but he's not been starting that much. So there we go. I think I'll go for Weigand. So we've avoided him in the under 23s, but can pick him in here, and that gives us a good wee defender selection. Ewan Graham's a really interesting one because he's been playing so well for Suwon, and Suwon have been rubbish. So, but obviously he's 63 now, so that's pretty high up in terms of the average. Let's see, you've got Izaka, Salvio, Gazdag. I think that's a good selection. Just off yeah, I can't remember if he scored 2 goals midweek or if he got 2 decisives, but still off a really big score. Still leaves us at 53 in the cap. Lionel Messi, I don't think he's going to play. Cezinha, probably a wee bit high for this at the moment. Obviously, if I could get him in, that'd be great, but I'm not even sure when that game is. 15th of July, so is that close to the deadline or not? This is the problem with the current K League stuff, Like, so it's quite close to the deadline. Johnny Russell, got to go for Johnny. Scored 2 goals midweek. Austin have been pretty average recently as well, so I think that's a pretty good selection. And then we'll filter down the cap to 52 and see who is left. I suppose the only good thing about this is we've got loads of reasonable average players in, so we're not going in with anybody who's a complete no-hoper. Dennis Boanga. Yeah, that's a pretty good selection. So there we go. Sugano, Wygand, Gazdag, Dennis Boanga, Johnny Russell. I think that could actually do some damage in the cap 240. So there we go. Let's get it selected. Haven't even selected my other teams yet. Let's go for the under 23 Rare Pro. It's a bonus selection. Save me talking about market updates and all that sort of stuff. So, under 23 Rare Pro. Ozako is an interesting one because I've got Iraqi and I think that'd be a good one to run a wee defensive stack elsewhere, but I might just go with him actually because they're pretty strong at home, or usually pretty tight. There's been a bit of flu and everything in the camp, so I'm going to double check on that before I actually select him. So under 23 Rare Pro, suggested lineup is Kim Jong. Well, should have known that, shouldn't I? Because it's been coming up and everything. Let's play sharper. Say about Japan. Play sharper says you should have loaded up earlier. And Japan, Korea. That's not Korea. It's Japan. It's been a long day. Ozako, Iraqi, and Sasaki. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that, but I think I do want to play Kazuki Osako because under 23s is really somewhere I want to play a lot. Now, defender wise, Jack Maher obviously is a bit of a doubt to play, and I think I'm going to go for Valentin Gomez again because he's served me well, been really good recently, been playing as part of a back three, so they've kind of changed the system a wee bit. Velez have been a bit tighter, so that's quite interesting. Riku Puig, excellent. First man in the team sheet, superb. He's on really good form now, to be honest. Interesting the selector put in Wiatanga. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. That's quite interesting. Lee Han Bum maybe is the extra, but yeah, for the forward we'll just need to pick that. So Opoko's just moved to Montreal, so that's kind of interesting. I thought he was okay at LAFC, but yeah, it could be good for him as long as he gets plenty of game time, etc. And a lot of these guys are just younger guys who are not getting much of a game. So I think it would be Brian Aguirre or Alan Velasco. Sounders are not bad actually, to be honest. Just Alan Velasco is pretty nailed to play, obviously, with all the other guys away in terms of the American team. And then we have the extra position, so Seoul are away at Gang 1, who are pretty rotten. I'm going to go for, could be Facundo Torres or Lee Han Bum. Go for Lee Han Bum. Captain. I think Lee Han Bum's getting a better game. So that's an interesting one. Maybe I really should just actually pick Bake Young Bum there and double them up. That looks alright actually. That looks alright. That looks pretty strong. So Yeah, I think I'll go with that for initial selection. Double up, obviously, I think is a game where gang one won't do that well, then doubling them up kind of makes sense. Suppose it doesn't make sense if they don't keep a clean sheet, but um, there we go. From playing Lee Handbum, kind of playing for a bit of a clean sheet anyway, really, aren't they? So there we go. So that's a couple of selections. I haven't really thought about the other ones that much at the moment because it's been chaos in terms of the actual midweek and stuff as well. So probably just leave it at that at the moment. Pick the other teams just sort of tomorrow once there's more news available as well. I was saying earlier, I don't think there's going to be any lineups. No lineups. Don't think there's going to be any rewards videos tomorrow night. So it'll be pretty rubbish to be honest. But just a wee reminder. Obviously, the giveaways happening in August. It's open until August. Somebody messaged me the other day and said I'll struggle to find the actual tweet on Twitter, etc. So if you do want to enter the giveaway, there's a video explaining that on the channel. And if you're struggling to find the tweet that you need to like and retweet on Twitter at McBrideAce, then just give me a shout in the comments and I'll just link it for you just to make it easy. Thanks very much again, guys, for all the nice feedback. Thanks for watching the channel. If you've got any suggestions and stuff you would like to hear, particularly whilst we've no Europe on just now and everybody's probably bored out of their box a bit as well, but Europe will be back soon. It'll be back amongst as the carnage of all the big game weekends, etc. So take it easy. Thanks very much for watching.